bit about yourself.
Well, I am Celeste Pinkney, and I have one daughter, and retired from the federal government in 2014 after 31 years, and I'm in the process of starting a new business called Be By Your Side Companion Service. And I am a first-time co-author in the book Diary of a People Pleaser.
Okay, awesome. So you said you retired from 31 years?
The federal government as an investigator.
Oh, okay. How did that? Like, how was your journey in the federal government as an investigator? How was that?
It was awesome. I did security clearances.
Okay. Awesome stuff. So you mentioned that you are a first-time co-author in the newly released Diary of a People Pleaser. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Diary of a People Pleaser is 15 amazing women, and we share our stories as overcoming of being a people pleaser.
Okay. And for you to be able to write, a story in this book, of course, you have dealt with that. Like, how was your journey or your experience of being a people pleaser, and when did you get to the point where you knew you had to stop?
I stopped becoming a people pleaser when I turned 55. Through my years of life, I knew I was a people pleaser, but I never realized it was, I'm going to say, a disease. And many people suffer with being a people pleaser. And after the death of my mother in 2014, I became really ill. And through counseling, I discovered that I was a people pleaser, and I no longer liked it. I no longer felt worthy, and I had to take a journey of healing to realize that I could no longer keep pleasing people.
Right, absolutely. And, when you realized that, as far as that was what you were doing, and, you knew that you had to stop, what things did you start doing differently so that you would be always pleasing others?
I had to realize that I had to say no.
Yeah.
And when I say no, I can't feel guilty because I say no. Because I realized that I have to take care of me. I have to please me. It was like I didn't even know what made me happy. Someone would ask me, well, what makes you happy? And I had lost all sense and value of me. And my finances suffered. My self-esteem suffered. And I just broke down, and I just realized I can no longer do this because I knew God had a purpose in life for me other than pleasing people.
Right, absolutely. And, I think that, sometimes we forget that no is a complete sentence. We could just say no. We don't have to put nothing behind it. We don't have to give an explanation. It's just no. And I think at some point, I believe that, when we are so caring and, we're loving and we're compassionate, I believe that at some point a lot of us, become people pleasers. We want to please everyone. We want to make everyone happy. We want to have everybody have some type of acceptance of us in a sense. And I'm glad that you got to that point where you were like, no, like absolutely not. I'm not doing this anymore. I need to focus on me. So congratulations for that. I definitely understand that sometimes it's not an easy journey to do that because I myself was a people pleaser, always trying to make sure everybody else was good. And there was a huge lack in myself, and so when you get to that point where you're able to, put a stop to it, you pick up that stop sign and you're like, this is it. I am not doing it anymore. It's a very, it's an amazing experience because it's almost like you can truly breathe again. You know what I'm saying? Like you can truly breathe and start living for you instead of everybody else. An awesome thought. So,
yeah.
Also, let's see here. You are the CEO of On the Go for You. What is that?
On the Go for You is an e-commerce business through Amazon. I sell products on Amazon.
Okay. Awesome. And how does that go for you? Is it very well, or how long have you been doing it?
I have been doing it for 2 years. And the busiest season is the holidays.
Mhm.
But it's a profitable business if you just put your time and effort into it.
Absolutely. Everything definitely takes time. I tell people, it's an investment. When you make up your mind of where you want to go and what you want to do, you definitely have to invest, not only finances to get where you want to be, but definitely invest your time. So that's great. And so what else do you do? What other businesses or, side jobs or anything that you do for yourself?
Well, right now, I'm in the process of getting my own another business up and running. Be by Your Side companion service, and that developed as I was going through transition, and through my pain, I found my purpose, and I knew through my sickness and healing, being in the hospital on numerous occasions, that sometimes you just need someone just to sit with you, someone to be an advocate for the family, or someone needs to come to your home and just be by your side. And at one point in my life, I was afraid of death, so I had to work on not being afraid of death. So I decided to add death care services into the business too, because when in that time of need, people really need a helping hand.
Right. I like that. That's awesome. That is, to be able to assist those who may need someone. That's great. And so you said that you will be launching. So when exactly will it be launching?
I am praying that it will be up and running by the end of 2018, the first of 2019.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely look forward to that. That is awesome. Now, about you being an author, let's go back to that. So you are a first-time co-author, but have you authored your own book, or this will be your first published work altogether?
This is my first published work.
Okay, awesome. And so do you plan on, co-authoring again, or maybe writing your own piece?
Yes, I am in the process of writing a book called My Honey, because I used to call my mother my honey.
Okay. Awesome.
So it's basically on the line of still self-care, but I want to bring a message to family that in time of need, we all need one another. And there will be differences in opinions, but we just need to come as one. And a caretaker really needs to have time for themselves so they won't burn out.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. And now, I do believe that you also do Melaleuca as well, correct?
Yes, I'm new to the Melaleuca business.
Okay.
New.
I've done Melaleuca. I've done it too, and I love it. I love their products. They are amazing. They really are. So when did you start with them? You said you were very new.
I'm gonna say maybe 3 months ago. Yes, I'm a baby.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. So, you're co-author this book. You're in the process of, doing your, launching your business. And what else do you plan on doing? Like, what is next for you?
Just bringing a message and an awareness out to men and women that people, you really need to seek counseling, and there's nothing wrong with going to counseling, because you really just need to heal and be healthy spiritually, mentally, financially, in just all areas of your life. You just need a complete healing to be whole, and that you don't need to be ashamed. Just never be ashamed of what you have went through, but just becoming positive and just moving on with your life and not being stuck, because being a people pleaser is not a good thing.
Right. Absolutely. Now, you mentioned about, you want to bring a message to people, letting them know that it's okay to go to counseling. Do you come against a lot of people, or do you have a lot of people that you know or that you've seen that do not, like, they completely reject the idea of counseling?
Yes. I feel like people think that it brings a negative stigma.
Mm-hmm.
But counseling is one of the best things that I accomplished in my life. It's like in 2014, after I got sick and I went to counseling, it was like I finally felt like I'm living my life. Like I was living, but I wasn't living.
Mm-hmm.
And after my healing, I just feel like a brand new person. I felt like free, just free to be me.
Right. All right. And that's good, because, I know that, I hear a lot of people saying that when it definitely comes to the African American community, we definitely do not like counseling,
Yeah.
And you're right. People think that it's a stigma, it's a bad stigma, like something has to be completely wrong with you if you do that. And so I know a lot of times, we run from that, we reject it, we don't even want to hear it. We're looking for other ideas, but not counseling. So I think that is very important. And then not only that, but to have someone that's speaking to others and saying, hey, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It is okay to get counseling. So I think that is very, very important. Now,
yeah.
Do you actually go out and do speaking engagements concerning that?
No, by me just becoming a first-time co-author, I haven't developed any speaking engagements as of yet.
As of yet. Okay, that's it. As of yet, which means you'll definitely get some in the future. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So with everything that you're doing, you mentioned that you have one daughter. So she's like an adult, so that way you don't. She's like an adult on.
She's an adult, but during my free time, I deliver for Amazon too. That's good. That's good exercise, and
yes,
it's good part-time money, and I can work when I feel like working. Like that's another side business.
Right. Okay.
And I'm a caretaker to my 87-year-old father.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're definitely doing it. You are. And I like how you said that side hustle. Side hustles are good. I always encourage people to get their own side hustle. Like, you can never go wrong with that, and not just depending on one source of income. Having multiple sources is always good. You always have something to fall back on. So that is great. That is great. So, first of all, I want to thank you for, coming on and letting us know a little bit more about you and what you are doing and just who you are. I love the fact that, you have a passion and a desire to, speak to people about canceling. You know, you want to, launch a business to assist people who may need a friend or just someone to be there. You know, and that says a lot, and I really appreciate that. I know the audience does as well, so thank you so very much for that.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Not a problem. But before we go to our break, can you definitely let our audience know how they can connect with you? How can they reach out to you?
Yes, I am on. You can contact me through Yahoo at celeste.pinkney@yahoo.com, and on Instagram, Celeste Pinkney, and Twitter, Pinkney Celeste.
Okay, awesome stuff. And is there anything else you would like to share or give some encouraging words to our audience?
Yeah, just never be ashamed of what you have went through or you're going through.
Good stuff. Never be ashamed, absolutely. So, Celeste, thank you so very much again. I greatly appreciate it. And audience, listen, make sure that you connect with her, especially if you know that, love her business and also her book that was just newly released, Diary of a People Pleaser. Make sure that you get that. How can we get that book, Celeste?
Yes, it's on Celeste.Pinkney at strikingly.com.
Okay. Awesome sauce. Well, again, thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate it. And to our audience, thank you for listening to our first half. We are about to go to break. And when we get back, we will come on with our second guest. All right? So just hang tight, and we'll be right back.
From fearing you lost control. This was the one thing you didn't see coming, and no one would blame you, though. If you cried in private, if you tried to hide it away, so no one knows, no one will see if you stop believing. Not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. You're not alone. Here and now, you can be honest. I won't try to promise that someday it all works out. 'Cause this is the valley, and even now He is breathing on your dry bones. And there will be dancing, there will be beauty where beauty was ash and stone. This much I know. Oh, my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. 'Cause you're not alone. Oh, my soul, you're not alone.
All right. To the second half of the Beautiful You, Authentic You radio show. Our first half, we had an amazing time with Celeste Pinkney. She shared with us how she was, that she is a first-time co-author of the book Diary of a People Pleaser. She was also the CEO of On the Go for You, a Melaleuca customer, and also Be By Your Side companion service. So she was doing it up. She is definitely doing it up. I greatly enjoyed speaking with her, and she touched on some great topics about canceling, which is something that we definitely need to be open to. I know, like we discussed before, a lot of us are closed-minded to that. You know, we think that counseling is just off the charts. You know, like we can't do it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to do anything, all right? So we definitely had an awesome first half, and we will be getting into our second half in just a little bit. But before we do that and bring on our next guest, I definitely want to just do a little housekeeping real quick, all right? So make sure that you connect with us on Facebook, all right, the Beautiful You, Authentic You Facebook page, all right, or you can connect with me on Facebook, Nakia P. Evans, and also my co-host, Irena Penning on Facebook, okay? We are still looking for guests, so if you are interested in being a guest on the show, make sure that you definitely reach out to us, connect with us, and let us know, and we would be more than happy to get some information on you and also schedule a date, okay? All right? So what we're going to do is, let's see if our second guest is here before we start our next half. Not yet. Okay, not yet. So listen, guys, make sure that you continue to tune in with us every single Sunday at 8 p.m., all right? We have some amazing guests that we discuss and talk to every single week, all right? Next week, I have two other ladies that will be joining us who are doing amazing things in their community, amazing things in their business and ministry, okay? So these are people that you definitely want to make sure that you're connecting with. These are people that you want to make sure that you are reaching out to, all right? And also just a quick shout-out, a quick birthday shout-out to my little pup, Nadia. Nadia is my little baby. She is one of my hosts in Ruach Life Network, Chrissy Janae's daughter. She turned 5 today, so I had to make sure that I definitely give Nadia a shout-out. Happy birthday, Nadia! Okay? All right, so we are waiting for our second guest to come on in. And so I'm checking to see who's on our page. Shout us out. Send us a chat. All right, so our second guest is here. Let's see, and I'm gonna bring her on because I do not want to mess up her name. Oh my gosh, I do not want to mess up her name. I believe it's Rico. Miss Cameron, are you there, love?
Good evening. Yes, you said it right.
I said it right?
Yes, you said it correctly.
Okay, awesome. I wanted to make sure that I did not mess up your name. How are you, love?
I am doing great. I'm excited to be on your radio show. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on.
Not a problem. Thank you for being here. So go ahead and tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am an author, a speaker, and also a professional life coach. I became certified last November. I've been in business now going on my second year, and when I decided to write books, I actually wanted to really just encourage women and encourage them to get over their stuff like I did, but it took me a long time to do it. So in the midst of all of my writing, I talk about how I got over my issues, how I got over my brokenness, how I got over, just being angry at people and learning to forgive and learning how to do self-checks on myself. So I was in the military for 5.5 years, regular Army. I've traveled in Europe and also across the United States. I am single. I have no kids. I do want to be married one day. Just waiting for Mr. Right to knock on the door. And that's a little bit about me.
Okay, all right, awesome fun. So now, I do have your bio, and one of the things that really, caught me is that, you definitely have a passion to speak to women about forgiveness and purpose and, being broken. Those are the things that really reached out to me because that is something that is so important, and that's also something that I see a lot of women deal with. You shared in your bio that you did experience sexual abuse, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And so, how did that situation shape your life? What did it do? Was there any changes? Did you, go through, a lot? Did you question yourself? How did that affect your life?
It affected my life greatly. I had very bad trust issues. I really didn't trust people, whether it was men or women. The abuse took a toll on me. It cracked my foundation. I really was very broken after that. When you experience sexual abuse, and the first time that it happened to me, I was actually about 4 or 5 years old, and that time I didn't say anything because I was afraid of the girl who molested me, because she said, if you tell anybody, I'm going to beat you up. And she was in her preteens, and I was only 5 or 6 years old, so I couldn't really speak up for myself because I was very fearful. But at the age of 10, it happened again. It was my mom's boyfriend. And just when it happened, because I had gotten a little bit older, I did speak up. And I told my mom. And when I told her, she didn't believe me. So for me, that broke trust in so many ways. It broke trust because my mother, who was the person who was supposed to cover me, who was supposed to keep me safe, who was supposed to help me when I'm in distress, turned her back on me and told me I was lying to her. She was like, "You lying. He didn't do that to you." And all I could do was just look at her because the one person that was supposed to protect me didn't protect me. Mm-hmm. And it took about a year before she caught him. And when she caught him, she never once said, "I'm sorry." She didn't do anything. The only thing she did do was the next morning, got up from school, everything was still quiet and normal. I went to school that day. It was a normal day. When I got home, he was gone. But she didn't say anything to me for about 3 months. And then when she did say something, it was, "I told your father that, that so-and-so did this to you." It wasn't, "I'm sorry this happened to you." It was just, "I told your father." And I'm like, "Okay." And she was like, "He was going to kill him." I was like, "Okay." And I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, Mom, what am I supposed to do?" So it broke trust for me. It broke trust for me in adults. It broke trust for me in a woman-to-woman relationship and a man-woman relationship, because I didn't trust men. I didn't know what their motive was to want to be with me. I didn't know, are you really here for me? Are you here for what you think you can get from me? Right. So it was very true. It was very tragic. I was angry for several years after that.
Right. Definitely, and I definitely understand that, and you know that really caught me because you're talking to someone who was also molested at 7, and so you know it was like you know speaking to parents or trying to tell parents about it. You know they are so unbelieving. You know what I mean? Very unbelieving. But one thing that I can say is that you know even though she didn't say anything, I'm quite sure it really you know struck her and really hurt her. Because, you know, for my mother, she never said anything either. But then I could also tell that there was a lot of embarrassment there and also a lot of blame for herself. Because, you know, basically they, you know, kind of understand that I should have believed, you know, or I should have done something more. So, you know, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, you know, after that, how did you get to the point of healing? You know, how did, you know, you experience this, and I also saw that you experienced a lot more, you know, other than that. So when did you get to the point where you actually was able to be healed so that you can speak into the lives of other women?
Well, that actually happened, I would say, probably about 1999, 2000, around that time frame. I was probably in my early 30s, and I was literally at work, and I decided I'd go to for lunch. I would go out to Subway and eat my lunch, and I would write poetry in my journal. And as I was writing in my journal, I realized that what I was writing was not so positive. I literally took one day, and instead of me writing that day, I just decided to read what I had written to kind of see where I was in my journal and, you know, my feelings. Because when you write stuff down, you don't actually, I don't know how to say, you don't actually, I don't want to say you don't feel it, because you do feel it. It doesn't connect. If you don't sit and resonate in what you've written, you really don't connect with what you've written. But this particular day, I decided to read what I wrote.
Right.
And as I read what I wrote, I realized that I was angry. I realized that I was in a state of unforgiveness. I realized that I was really not this super positive, happy, joy person I thought I actually was. When I realized that I was not in a good, happy space, I realized I was angry, and that I was still holding grudges for things that happened to me when I was a kid, things that happened to me in my teenage years, things that happened to me in broken relationships that I had. And in realizing that I was still broken myself, I realized, okay, you're living in a state of unforgiveness. You're living in a state of anger. You're living in brokenness. And it took for me to read what I had written in order for me to actually understand the unforgiveness that I had, to understand the brokenness that I had. And that day sitting in Subway, eating my lunch, reading my journal, was the first day of me actually having an epiphany and becoming self-aware of who I was, what I had become, and realizing that I didn't want to be this negative person that didn't, you know, really, that lived in a state of unforgiveness. So
right.
That was the day that I actually said to myself, I need to forgive some people, and I need to forgive myself for being angry at myself, because I was angry at myself for allowing those things to happen to me, not realizing that a lot of times in life, you don't have the ability to stop things from happening to you. And when you understand that you don't have control over everything, then you can get to a place of forgiveness. So once I saw myself on paper, then I was able to say, I need to change some things. And I forgave myself, and I forgave my mom, I forgave other people who hurt me, and some things fell right off, and then other things took a while. So it's a process. It was a process.
Absolutely. Definitely a process, definitely. Absolutely. And so, one thing that I can admire about you is that, when you got to that point where you were able to look at your writings and look at where you are and how you felt, and you realized that you were angry, you were able to be truthful with yourself, because sometimes we don't want to be truthful. We see it and we act like we don't see it. We act like we want to put the blame on everybody else to justify how we feel, rather than, really facing what we've dealt with, where we are, how we feel, and be able to be truthful with yourself to be able to move forward. I truly believe that only then can you learn to forgive and move past that. Anything else just doesn't work. It's almost like a fake forgiveness, It's simply a fake forgiveness because you cannot allow yourself to see your own hurt and see your own unforgiveness and things like that. So I really, really like that.
Yeah, you have to be able to see yourself. If you can't see yourself, then you really live in a state of lying to yourself.
Mhm.
And for me, I just had to stop lying to myself. I had to really take hold of what my life had become and who I had become. And I didn't like what I saw, so I decided to change it. Now, in that process of changing things, I went through reading some self-help books. I read a lot of the Iyanla Vanzant books. She actually was my lifesaver because I didn't even know what self-help was until I actually got into the section of self-improvement, and I saw one of her books. So in several of her books, and that was how I actually started to get to a point to where I was able to get to a space of forgiveness. And it took a while. It took me doing exercises like I would actually stand in the window in the mirror of my bathroom, and I would say, I forgive you, so-and-so, for doing so-and-so. Like I would say, I forgive you, Mom, for not believing me when I told you Robert molested me. Now, that's not his name. I'm using a fake name. But I would say that to myself, and I would look myself in the mirror, and I would say it over and over and over again till I didn't feel that thing anymore that I felt when I was angry. So it really it took a lot for me to get to that space to where I could stand in the mirror and say, hey, I'm going to forgive this person. We need to repeat this and what they did to me and just keep doing it till I don't feel it anymore. And once I got to that space of not feeling that anger anymore, I left it alone, let it go, and I went to the next thing that I was upset about or I was still holding unforgiveness about. And I kept doing it until I got to a space where I was happy with me. I was happy with who I had become as far as me getting into a space of living in forgiveness rather than living in unforgiveness.
Right, absolutely. And that's what it takes. That's exactly what you have to do. We have to be an active participant in our own healing. Sometimes we wait for God to do it, and believe me, God is a healer, but you have to allow him to do the work, and that means you have to be an active participant in order to do so. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the Regal Life Academy?
Yes, and Regal Life Academy, that is something brand spanking new. I'm actually still working on updating my website because I'm putting all of the information on my website about Regal Life Academy. And what it is my coaching program. I have an 8 weeks program, a 6 weeks program, and a 4 weeks program. And what they're customized programs for whoever decides that they want to come in and get some life coaching done, helping them find out what it is that they want to do, whether it's just wanting to become a better person, whether it's wanting to reach out and start going after your passion, whether it's just wanting to learn how to forgive, wanting to learn how to break brokenness, wanting to learn how to check yourself. So what I do is I give a questionnaire, and I sit down with a 45-minute session with that person, and we discuss. I ask them questions, and then they give me back their answers, and from that's where we determine what they need to work on and what they desire to work on. And with Regal Life Academy, what it is I want you to live the regal life and be the best you that you can be. Mm-hmm. And in those programs, I will help you have a better life, work towards a better business, whatever it is that you desire to do for your life to make your life better, that's what I do. My mission is to help you reach your passion. My mission is to help you do your passion and get you to that point to where you're feeling comfortable with yourself. And the website should be up hopefully within the next month. I'm working with a web designer, so hopefully everything will be up and running within the next month. And within Regal Life Academy, I also will be doing webinars, 7 steps to forgiveness, 7 steps to breaking brokenness, 5 steps to checking yourself, and also how to deal with your anger. Because a lot of times people don't know how to deal with their anger. They don't know how. It's okay to be angry, but you don't want to live in that anger. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn how to let that stuff go. So I'll be doing webinars here within the next couple of months. You'll be seeing things rolling out where you can sign up for the webinar and take classes and, just really learn how to improve yourself. Because for me, when I decided to do Regal Life Academy, I wanted something that was going to enrich people's lives. Mm-hmm. And with Regal Life Academy, I'm going to give you those tools. I'm going to give you those tools to building your confidence. I'm going to give you those tools to break that brokenness and unforgiveness. Because a lot of people don't understand is that if you're running your business and you're full of unforgiveness and you're full of brokenness and you have all this anger in you, you really can't serve your customers well having all that stuff in you. So my job is to help you deal with those issues that you have in your life and help you get to a point to where you can be in a happy space. Because when you are in that dark space, you can't serve people the way they should be served. And you want to serve them to the best of your ability, and you want to do that in a space of forgiveness. You want to do that in a space of wholeness. You want to be the best person that you can be for your business and for your consumer. So that's what Regal Life Academy does. That's what we want to bring to the market.
Okay, awesome stuff. I like that. And so you are also an author, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I have a daily devotional called Divine Intervention, a daily devotional inspired by the Holy Spirit. You can pick that up on Amazon. I also have a couple of workbooks, 7 Steps to Forgiveness workbook. That is on Amazon. And 7 Steps to Breaking Brokenness will be up on Amazon within probably the next 3 weeks. I'm in the final stages of doing the last editing before I go and upload everything. But the real big game changer that I put on my Facebook is The Mask Behind My Beauty, a story of triumph and being my own rescue. That right there, that's the game changer. Because the reason why it's the game changer is in that book I talk about my life. I talk about all of the hardships that I've been through, everything from molestation to rape to just betrayal by my family, all of those things that I've gone through, not really having a relationship with my biological father. Mm-hmm. I talk about that. I talk about how it is when you don't have a father's love, when you don't have that foundation of a father's love. You don't really know. When you get older and you don't have a good foundation, you're looking for that father's love in men, and that's not always the best. That's not always the best thing to do because you can get hurt. You get hurt a lot. Mm-hmm. I've been in that space to where I was looking for love, as they say, think of a country song, looking for love in all the wrong places. Mm-hmm. I did. And it was because I didn't have a father's love. And I had my stepfather, but that was only until he divorced him. My mom divorced him. My mother divorced him when I was 9, going on 10 years old. So that foundation that I needed in my teenage years wasn't there. I didn't have a father to take me out on my first date to show me how a man should treat me. I didn't have a father to tell me what guys will tell you to get in your drawers, because
They will tell you some lies to do that. and if you don't know, you don't know, because my mom didn't tell me. I wish she would have told me, but she didn't tell me. I don't think a lot of mothers tell their daughters what guys will say to you just to get in your underwear, or what guys will do to manipulate you and tell you all these sweet nothings in your ear, and it's only just to get your prize. And for me, not having that foundation of a father, it was hard. It was hard. It was really, really hard. And I talk about how key it is for fathers to make sure that they put a good foundation in their daughters' lives. They need to tell their daughters about the games that guys will play, about the game they will spit. They need to really, really educate their daughters on what the world is about. And if you don't have a father in your life, you missed out on all of that. You missed out on finding out what it's like to have, your first date with your dad. Just having that daddy-daughter time. That's important. And I talk about that. I talk about the relationship between my mom, realizing when my mother was broken, and realizing that because she was broken, that made me broken, because there were generational curses going on. Mm-hmm. These are things that we don't talk about in the black community. We don't talk about the generational curses that go on from generation to generation to generation. Because I was molested as a kid, I'm pretty sure, I don't know for sure, I don't know for a fact, but I believe my mother was molested. Mm-hmm. And that's generational. And, they don't talk about molestation in the black family. That's something that's hush-hush. You don't say anything about that. You don't, whatever stay in the house, whatever happened in the house, stay in the house. You don't tell nobody. You don't say nothing. You keep it. No, we can't do that anymore. We have to talk about those issues. And when something happens, then it needs to be addressed. It doesn't need to just be brushed under the rug, make the person leave. No, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. You have to be able to address issues when they arise. And in the black family, we just don't do that. We don't talk about it. We may do it now, but back in the day, you didn't talk about that, because when it happened to me, my mother called me a liar and didn't say anything else about it until a year later when she called it. Right. Those are things that you need to talk about. I talk about abortion. Mm-hmm. I talk about how, when it happened to me, why it happened to me, what came about during that time in my life. I talk about all of that. I talk about how it felt. I talk about how I felt tricked. Mm-hmm. And I know people are saying, how you felt tricked? Yeah. How I felt tricked. Because the first time it happened, it actually happened twice. The first time it happened, I was 18, virgin, gave it up, and I trusted the guy. And in trusting him was the wrong thing to do, but I did. And he was a sophomore in college. He came home for the summer, and we were doing the do, and he ain't pull out. Boom, I'm pregnant. In his mind, he's like, well, you said you would have it if because he had asked me, would you have it if you got pregnant? And me, dummy, yeah, I'll do it because that's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. But when it actually happened to me, and I was faced with, oh, God, am I going to have this baby and be stuck in Winter Haven for the rest of my life? Because Winter Haven, everybody knows everybody. You probably hear my southern accent right now. Everybody knows everybody, and it's not even the fact that it was just a small town. I felt like my life had ended. I felt like the desire for me to go to college, the desire for me to do the things that I wanted to do with my life were gone. My whole life had changed. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to have the abortion, him and his mom, they were pissed at me. But my feeling was, my life is over now. I was a senior in college. I was a senior in high school. Mm-hmm. I made that decision for me. The second time it happened, dude lied. He said he couldn't have no kids. Mm-hmm. That was a lie he told me. Mm-hmm. That's something that a father needs to tell their daughter. They will lie to you and tell you one thing and be lying through their teeth. So for me, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And at that point, I took control of my body. I said, no more. I'm not going through this anymore. And there was a lot of lessons in that for me. And those lessons of what I put in the book to help other women deal with the brokenness, deal with the unforgiveness of yourself, because it took me years to get to a space of forgiveness for myself because of what I'd done. Mm-hmm. I really beat myself. It took me, when I say years, I'm like, it took me like 20 years to really deal with that, deal with those issues, and really get into a space of forgiveness where I believe that God forgave me. But I talk about those issues. They don't talk about that in the Black family. They don't talk about how to prevent getting pregnant to the point to where you sit down and talk with your daughters. Mm-hmm. It's not a taboo subject. So I talk about tough issues like that. I talk about tough issues. I talk about rape. I talk about, when I was raped by my fiance. I talk about all of those. I touch those subjects that are normally not touched in the black community. Then in the midst of talking about my life in the book, I give you the 7 steps to forgiveness. I give you the 7 steps to breaking brokenness. I give you a check yourself process, to where you can actually go through step by step by step and evaluate your life and figure out, am I in a good space? Am I in a bad space? Do I need to do some work? How can I really improve myself and get to myself to a better space, a better place, to love me more? I give you all those tips. I even talk about the angry Black woman in the book. Yeah, it's a stereotype. It's a true stereotype. I was 4 of them. I have 7 types of angry Black women. I was 4 of those women at one point in my life. Wow. Mm-hmm. I talk about all this stuff in the book. I give you questions. I give you where you can actually work through the questions. Yes, no. Write down your thoughts. I even give you ways how to deal with your emotions. Mm-hmm. And dealing with setting boundaries with people. I give you lists of emotions to where if you can't figure out how you're feeling at the time, you can go through that list and look at the list and kind of decipher where you're at that point, so that you can figure out, how am I feeling? What's really going on with me? Let me look at these. Am I angry? Am I sad? Am I furious? So I give actual steps that you can take to work through your issues. So the book, it talks about my life, but it's actually a self-help book to help you move to the next level. And that's why I call it a game changer. Yes, it talks about my life, but I give you tools and tricks and tips on how to make your life better.
Right. Okay. And when is that book available?
That book will actually be coming out January 5th, 2019. It'll be ready for pre-sale on December 1st of this year.
Okay, awesome stuff. Well, I'm going to definitely stay connected because I would love to read that book, The Mask Behind My Beauty. Okay, a story of triumph and being my own rescue. I love it. I love it. Well, Reba, I want to say thank you so much for sharing, your story with us, your life, your experiences. And just being able to see how you were able to overcome that and be the best you, we greatly appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Absolutely. And so can you tell our audience how they can connect with you on social media or anything like that?
Yes, you can connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Regal T. Cameron. You can also connect with me on Twitter at Regal's Gems. And on Facebook, Facebook and Instagram. And then you can also check my website out at www.regalcameron.com. And on there, you can actually go to the contact page, hit the little button, fill out the information, and send it, and it'll come directly to my inbox.
Okay. Awesome stuff. Thank you so very much. We're looking forward to that. I'm going to stay connected because I want that book, okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll definitely stay connected, but thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you again.
Not a problem. All right, to my audience, Listen, guys, thank you so very much for rocking it with your girl. Again, it has always been a pleasure. We enjoy bringing, two amazing women every single Sunday evening to you. Women that empower you, encourage you, and speak life into you, okay? So make sure that you connect with our guests, all right, our first guest and also our second one. Also, make sure that you connect with us again next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same number, okay? We're going to have two amazing women who will be back, okay? And also my co-host, Irena Tenen, will be back next week as well, all right? So, guys, listen, thank you so very much. It's been amazing. I will chat it up with you next Sunday. Have a great one, guys. See you later.